masturbate 1,000 times a day. I can masturbate a burst of 12 times.
Yeah. And then if you do this 3 times a day, bro, you're constantly stuck in this state of,
It is a disturbing issue, but one that is growing. The production of millions of pornographic images of children being sexually abused.
You build that monster inside your head.
That's right.
So I can see where you're going on the pornography.
People are addicted to it. It is the modern day cigarette.
Big increase in web pages hosted in sale pool.
This V card is extremely important to me. Representation of somebody's virginity.
People invest more into a photo on social media than they invest into real life.
So masturbation is not a natural need. Unless you can procreate with your hand, then there's no way that masturbation could be something that's naturally occurring. People do it as somewhat of a shortcut to actual sex. The actual natural need is for you to go out and meet a partner, marry them, and then mate with them. And that's how we actually procreate. So that's something that could be a natural need, but as far as masturbation with your own hand, that makes absolutely no sense. I doubt that could ever be a natural need. It becomes an addiction when you can't stop doing it. When you try to stop doing it and then you realize that you failed 3, 4, 5 times in the future, even though you told yourself that this was the last time that you were going to do it. The unfortunate truth is that this is happening to people at especially younger and younger ages as the time goes on because of the ease of access to pornography. Now, the true main issue that makes masturbation itself a problem is the access to pornography.
Usually people won't be diving deep into doing it by themselves unless there's something that would easily stimulate them. That's not natural. That is not restricted in most countries, and that has ease of access to millions of videos upon hours and hours and hours, every single category that they want.
The brain is a learning prediction machine. If your brain learns to be aroused by watching other people have sex, it is not necessarily going to carry over to the ability to get aroused when you're one-on-one with somebody else.
Usually it starts off as something that's very, very calm, very, very simple, and then it turns into something that's a lot more erotic and explicit and actually ends up ruining their life and their relationships because they continue to have this more and more objectified perception on women, and that's how they usually see them. Both thing works for both genders, but usually I see this happening to most of the young men, especially in this day and age. So it becomes a problem when you just can't stop, and the unfortunate truth is that most people really can't.
So the harms of pornography are nearly infinite. For example, the first one is that it's extremely, extremely addictive.
Like at no point in human history have we been able to do a quick search online from the comfort of our own pocket. It's been able to look at millions and millions of hours of unrestricted access to any kinds of videos of people having sex on our phones as we want. That's entirely unnatural. Our ancestors, our grandparents, have never seen as many naked people as we have seen in our day and age within nearly 5 minutes.
Especially young kids who are consuming a lot of pornography, the brain is learning sexual arousal to other people having sex.
So you're going to program yourself into being a voyeur?
Eventually to a point where you actually have something called PIED, porn-induced erectile dysfunction, which I know somebody in real life that actually does have this, where they really just can't do the real thing anymore because they're so used to doing it to a video and watching a girl that has extremely physically exaggerated elements that are not natural or real in any sense. So the only thing that can make this person get in the mood is something that's not even real. So they're living in this fantasy land where their body's not even working properly, they probably can't even procreate, and they're gonna have a horrible marriage because of their addiction and viewership of pornography.
So the objectification of people, especially women, the sexual assault, the harmful addictive acts, where it increases the amount of dopamine that you need to feel satisfied even deeper every single time. For an example, if you start off on a basic video, you end up going into something a lot more deep as time does go on because of your dopamine receptors being numbed in your brain, or that when something a level 1 would kind of get you excited, not something a level 15 has to get you excited, and it just does not end there.
The higher the dopamine peak, the bigger the drop afterwards. And it's not that you drop to baseline, you drop below baseline.
Dr. Lawrence American Board of Psychiatry and Neurology shows us what happens to your brain when you watch porn using SPECT scanning.
This is a scan of a sex addict brain, an 18-year-old sex addict brain. And we compare that to a normal brain. And at the naked eye, we can tell this is not normal. Now, if we compare that to someone who has cocaine addiction, this is a person who has cocaine addiction. As you can tell, in the prefrontal cortex and the parietal lobe, they're very similar, although you don't see the top part of this brain. The scalloping is about the same if we looked at this sagittally. person's just not using as much brain because they're used to using the sex and other things to make their brain active. So the excitement of pornography. So we'll see a lot of the same deactivation from cocaine and sexual addiction. You can tell again from someone who's a normal brain, we obviously don't see that degree of scalloping. It takes over the mind.
Yeah, this does definitely open the doors to a lot more erotic and harmful, even illegal acts done by people, because the videos that we're watching now, they're actually showing videos that are replicating, they're not actually in the videos, but they're like replicating people that are under the age of 18. They're replicating people doing extremely nasty things that are illegal in many states. The people in the videos aren't actually doing it, they're just acting as if they are. So now the viewers that are watching this are feeling more inspired to actually do these things, like commit harmful acts of like sexual assault, or to commit acts of like perverted acts and something of that sort, because they're seeing this in the video and it's becoming their actual norm now. So like I said, it always starts off as something very simple, then ends up leading to something that's actually illegal in a sense. So for an example, the categories can be anywhere from having like minors or like alleged minors in the videos, which actually the biggest companies are actually being sued for right now at the moment. Or they can be replicating something as far as rape, what people find desirable, and that's actually giving them more stimuli to go out and do it in real life because they're finding these videos easily accessible in their own phones. And it's also showing stuff like assault and violence, and domestic abuse, and all of the above. Even though it's not actually happening in the video or the actors are okay with it, the concept, the ideology itself is being shown and is being glorified throughout these videos, which is making people a lot more aggressive and higher chances of committing sexual assault.
Can my brain heal after I quit pornography? Yes, you can heal. The good news for addicted porn users is that the brain resets with sobriety. The reward system eventually, usually around the 1-year mark, returns to baseline. Feed your brain with the right images and healthy habits. And of course, by staying away completely from watching pornography.
During addiction, the number of brain receptors decrease because of exposure to excessive amounts of dopamine. This causes people to take less pleasure than ordinary people. Those who quit masturbating experience an increase in their dopamine receptors to their natural state after a short period. They start to enjoy their life and activities like traveling, chatting with their friends, and going out like everybody else.